Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our third live stream for this year, 2021. Happy New Year for everyone, even though we're already middle of January. But we're super excited to be back. I want to give a huge shout out to our viewers and to our chat community. Hello, Sandrine, Andreas, Caroline, Christy, Sean. It's good to have you back, guys. And we also have some amazing new viewers that are looking forward for today's session. Just a quick reminder, if you are joining us on YouTube, do switch to behance.net/live so we can say hello to you. We can also answer your questions with my special guest today. So yeah, a big hello to everyone. We're very excited today because it's a very special topic. It's a very special theme. We're making it count for 2021. I know last year has been a struggle for most of us in terms of creativity or inspiration, and it's just been a global struggle, but we made it through thanks to all the live streams that we've been doing, and learning how artists have been dealing with it from home, actually. And that's what we're going to be mostly discussing today with my guest. And we're also going to be talking about mental health, wellness, and how to create your own studio from home, and just kind of like learning from tips and inspirations on how to get through everyday struggles, regardless what's happening in the world right now. So I just want to say hello to my special guest today, Paloma Rincon. Hi, Paloma, how are you?
Hello, Nathalie. I'm very good and very excited to be here sharing this time with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. So Paloma Rincon is a visual artist. She works across multiple disciplines. She's famous for her amazing photographic skills and set designs. She had clients like Absolute, Black and White Whiskey at Bombay Sapphire, Coca-Cola, IKEA. Wow, this is like a long list of clients, and she's gonna showcase some projects that she did in the past year that are very inspirational because most of them were personal and some of them were for clients, and we're gonna learn all about it today. I truly personally love Paloma's work because it's super colorful, playful, and it really touches specific themes that are helpful, to the community. So Paloma, please feel free to introduce yourself to our audience today and showcase your projects.
Well, thank you for this introduction. I don't know if I can add a lot more. I'm a visual artist. I work across different disciplines with a strong focus in concept development, art direction. I create photographic stills, but also do moving image projects in a very colorful and bold style. I get very inspired by the physical things that happen in the real world, and that also affects a lot my work and my process, because it's not just about the final result, but what I learned while I'm developing all my projects. So, well, for all of you that don't know very good my work, these are some very representative images of some of my projects from the past. I try always to develop personal projects because that's my playground. That's where I can explore my new directions and where I want my career to be directed towards. And I also do commercial projects sometimes for very big brands, but sometimes for smaller brands. And I'm happy that I'm mostly able to to get my style into all those images. And well, I love trying different techniques. I love all handmade stuff. I was born and raised in Mexico, and all this influence of the handcrafts and the color and the bright lights, the tropical influence of elements. So these are some projects that I've done in the past where I've learned how to do marbling art or hard modeling like the arteries, or resin art, or modeling water, slime, or my own interpretation to ikebanas, or even worked with liquid nitrogen to explode flowers. So I love to explore, and this is what keeps me motivated.
Amazing. That's so cool. Like, so you use so many different techniques, and I know that you also like touch some of the photos, right? After you take them physically.
There's also post-production, of course, in my images, but I try to base them as much as I can in what happens in real life. Sometimes this post-production has to do with putting together different moments of the scene I'm shooting, like trying to get the best part of everything that's happening and putting all together, but always trying to get the real part very present. I like things to interact in a realistic way, and to feel like they are part of the scene. And this I can achieve this by thinking a lot of how I'm going to face the post-production, so I can, when I'm shooting, I have all that in mind, so it will all come together in a more natural way.
Amazing. And then will we be seeing some of your projects today? Could you, because I know that a lot of people from the chat are asking about how do you have time to do personal work, and you know, of course, we're looking forward to see some of your tips. So here we have a project by that you did for Wired. Was that a commercial project?
Well, this was a commission I got while we were still in like the super hard lockdown we had here in Spain. So I was asked from Wired to create an image speaking about the value of life. They were developing an article speaking about how much is a life worth in dollars, because there's this statistical way of calculating this benefit cost in like whatever decisions governments take. So the challenge here was to create something with what I had already had. I'm very lucky because I have my home and my studio connected. It's like not a huge space, but it's a space that it's big enough for me to develop my personal projects, my explorations, and it was very helpful during the lockdown to keep me busy, even if there were not many commissions, but that made me be able to create my personal projects, to keep me moving, to keep me motivated, and to keep me sane, basically. And during this time, I got this commission I was speaking about. So I needed to solve what I wanted to say with stuff that I already had. And the most funny thing was about the plants, because of course I have plants, but I didn't want to kill my plants. So they started to let us go for 1 hour a day for a walk. So when I went down for my walk, I came down with some scissors and I started to get some of the wild plants that had grown in the city. So this is how I completed this image. The one at the left speaking more about the balance of money and life, and the one at the right speaking a little bit more about these statistics and how a graphic works with the live element introduced there.
Nice. And I know that, so talking about your home studio, I understand that this was not, like, you did not see this coming, like you had your space already there, but you know, when the lockdown happened, you were thankful that you had it over there, like you did not plan for it, basically.
I already had it, and it's been like something I'm very happy I had. It makes my life super much more easy. Whenever I have a commercial project, a bigger project, I go to a bigger and more professional studio, of course. But otherwise, I have a space where I can play around and do my little explorations, and many of my personal series and work. Many people know me from like what I share has been shot in my little studio. And like this little series I created this summer, also during these pandemic times, and it's a very simple series, but it has a strong concept behind. Speaking about mental health here, that's something that it's very relevant at the moment, I think. And
we have a lot of people on the chat that are looking forward to see the process of this project. I personally would love to see it, so please tell us more about it.
Well, it's actually very simple process. It's more about getting to the concepts. And when I had this idea of connecting what we think we are and what we see about ourselves, and what's the image we reflect about ourselves. And for example, in the banana case, I mean, more mature banana, it's also a delicious banana, but sometimes we are so obsessed nowadays about age. And in some images I speak about weight, about feeling complete, about feeling empty, like many very relevant topics, and like a very contemporary conversation, because it's things that we all face in a like bigger or smaller amount, but it's a different way of speaking about them, because it's an abstract way that made a lot of people feel it was easier to relate. And when I first published these images in my Instagram, I was really surprised about all the comments and the feedback I received from people. I didn't expect it at all. I felt it was a good idea, and I felt that the concepts were an easy way to visualize these mental health issues that many of us face. But the response from people was amazing. And this made me think a lot more about the series, about creating content that could be more meaningful. And I'm actually going to expand this idea into something that's going to be a lot bigger.
Completely, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of us appreciate this, because I do know that thanks to social media right now, we have kind of, we have this strength to go communicate our feelings, communicate our struggles and challenges. But it is actually, it's still hard for us to go out there and say, yes, I'm dealing with this. So I feel like your work is kind of like a metaphor somehow, or like a visual example of what we really feel, but we don't know how to communicate, or we don't know how to really express towards the whole world. So I even like when I see those images, I also like kind of think about when I go to the groceries as well. And I always like try not to choose like in terms of fruits. Like I always try to choose like the special ones because I don't want to have them there left as leftovers. So we actually do feel this way as a human being. So I love that, and I love that the fact that you did this out of your own time. Like you invested your time to do this as a personal project. Will we be able to see some behind the scenes from this project or from any of the projects that you would like to show us today?
From these specific projects, I don't have any. I do have behind the scenes from some other projects that I've worked this year, like my first project just after lockdown was this video I created for the Queen Sofia Foundation and the Food Bank Association. I directed this video with Block Studio, and it was a very nice project to do because it's the idea. I like the idea. They wanted to communicate. They were raising funds for investing in refrigerated transport, so they could get fresh food and not just rice or lentils for everybody in need. So they could transport all these goods, and this is the video where they the TV commercial for it. So
let's take a look.
Nos gustaría que al pensar en los bancos de alimentos no solo pensases en arroz, pasta o legumbres, sino en todo tipo de alimentos. Por eso, Fundación Reina Sofía junto a la Federación Española de Bancos de Alimentos pone en marcha la Operación Frío. Ayúdanos a adquirir equipos de frío para poder almacenar y distribuir alimentos frescos. Colabora con la Operación Frío en fundacionreinasofia.es o en fesban.org.
So this was a little team. This is the behind the scenes. I worked with Block Studio. We shot at their studio, and it was a very reduced team of people. They worked through all the animations with my art direction. We created all the concepts and developed the way to show this converting rice into fresh food. That's what we usually associate with food banks, like rice or stuff that doesn't that doesn't get I forgot the word in English. Well, it's not fresh. So people in need could also get fruits, vegetables, fish, and even meat. And yeah, this is the TV commercial we shot, and this is us having a lot of fun, moving little things, playing with fish, with vegetables, with ice.
And the ice.
Dried ice.
You have to make sure that the ice does not melt as well. I mean, this is all like full-on production.
It's fake ice. That's
okay.
We usually use like this this flower of my freezing flowers project. It's also like resin ice that it's used to for photography purposes and filming. Otherwise, it doesn't last.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can imagine, of course. And I know that we have Gareth here. He's asking, like, I mean, we did see the video side and how you work behind the scenes. But for instance, when you do create photography and like photo shoots with specific set design sets, how much of what we see is in camera and how much is post-production? Like, we would be interested to know how much time you put and invest into like the real objects, and then how much time do you also like spend on editing the photo in the end?
Mm-hmm. Well, I spend a lot of time in editing and retouching and all this, but it's more like a cleanup thing what I do. Like I'm going to show, I think in this other project you will be more able to see it, that this is the image campaign I created for Off Festival Bogota, which You really know?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, part of the process, definitely.
these are the final images, and it's a project called synesthesia, and I speak about the five senses as our way of communicating with the world that surrounds us. So yeah, in all the images I try to represent one of the senses. The first two on top are touch and taste, and down we see here a smell and sight, but all of them in this synesthetic approach called to other senses. This is the behind the scenes. So these are my first sketches. Then there's where I get color into the sketches, and there's when we start to create the sets with all the elements and with all the previous tests to see if it will work. But it's all very planned. I think that where I invest most of my time is in the concept development, the preparation, and the set creation. So everything will be as close as I want the final image to be when I get to shoot. Then, of course, there's work of retouching and like several shots, and then I select the one I like the most from them all, but it already looks a lot what the final result will be. Like, I don't like changing colors in post-production. I know that the reflections, the refractions, and everything that happens in real life can't be reproduced in the same way when you go to post-production. So even if you're going to do a composition out from all these, you really have to take into account how light works, how the physical interaction works, how all of these works. So you can have all like the resources and the plates to create this composition and make it work as if it were shot in real. So I like to work with real stuff. That's what I like more.
Beautiful. I love this. I mean, I know that I know I was part of the process when we first talked about the Off Bogota campaign, which unfortunately we had to postpone the festival for this year. But yeah, I mean, so much work has been put into it, and this is the first time I actually see the behind the scenes. It's just like
That's what I was just thinking about.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, which gets me to think, you know, when you do have clients approaching you for a specific project, of course, you do need to consider like a certain budget in terms, for example, of course, you have your time that is being invested in the project, but then you also have to consider the budget of for post-production, or for example, renting the studio. Do you have any tips regarding that, like for everyone that is watching us today, to kind of know in terms of invoicing the right amount and balancing the services? Do you have any tips regarding that we can use?
Well, yes, that's a very important part, because you have to think about everything, and everything is everything. Like even the food that people will have, even the transportation, if you need to get props, everything adds on, and it can add on in a really crazy way. So, a bit of practice and a bit of losing money can help in the learning, but yeah, it's very important to think about all particular needs that an image can have. And let's see if with any of the projects I have here, I can make I can give an example. For example, this is a simple project I shot during the lockdown. But yeah, I mean, if I had to, I have this reference and I have to quote for this. I have to think on what I see and what I need to have for what I see. And probably I need to buy a lot more flowers than the ones I see in the images, and that I will have to get reflected in my invoice. And there's the props, and there's the surfaces, but there's something that needs to hold the surfaces. So that's something we don't see directly, but that's also something we need. We need something to build the sets, and we need something to hold them, and we need the neon lights, and we need a way, and then it's like the post-production. So it's important to think about every single step we need to take to make that image possible. And that also means if I need to transport somewhere so I can go and collect my props, that's something I need to add to my code. And I mean, if I'm working with a team and we are 3 and we're working 2 days, we will need to eat those 2 days. So that's also something that we need to think about. And like every little thing, and the bigger the project, the more complicated it gets, because there's a lot of things that start adding over and over and over.
Of course. And, talking about finding inspiration during, hard times like the past year. I know you already mentioned that, after during the lockdown, when they allowed us to go out for an hour, you went, you actually went and cut some flowers for a specific project. Do you have any other tips that you personally had to go through for, those of us who are still actually, because I know there's many people out there that are still like struggling in going out and being able to be productive. So, and on a personal side, did you take any kind of struggle from the past year and you're looking forward to nurture it? Not nurture the struggle, but more like learning from it and nurture a more positive side from it for this year, for 2021?
Well, yeah, actually, 2020 was a very weird year with a lot of struggle, but it also gave us all, I think, the space and time to think, to reflect, to meditate, to see where we are and where we want to direct in the future. In that sense, it was very productive because I think it let me be more connected with myself. Of course, it wasn't all super easy and I wasn't productive all the time. There was a space in time where I was like kind of blocked, but I let myself be blocked because it was part of what was happening and I'm a human as everybody. So I just let being blocked and do like what everybody did during lockdown, which was basically like cleaning and organizing and try to put some structure into this crazy and unstructured life.
Which leads us to this amazing project that you did, Let's GUI. Oh no, sorry, we're going to talk about pandemic.
Now that I'm speaking about pandemic, I just wanted to show this because I did this that was simple, but this past year made me think about where I want to direct. So, I started to develop more projects that were more concept focused. Through this mental health series, I really felt I wanted to do some more meaningful personal projects, bigger projects, more meaningful and more, with more meaningful content, yes. And at the same time, I also have my commercial projects, and this has all evolved. And now I'm doing and working on more different techniques. I will show you now a little project I just started to share, and also do my personal explorations and exercises with this little series I always create, like these pandemic altars. And those are like simpler projects, but that keep me exploring, keep me busy, make me find things. Like I suddenly got in love with these neon lights and I started to explore them in different ways. And it's something now I have there to apply in other kinds of projects. So this is basically what happened. And this past year made me transform a bit, like got into more and different languages. I started to work more on video projects. And well, this one, I will show you now this project that was actually shot just before lockdown, but all the post-production was possible because of all the time that we spent home, because it was a very small team, and it took us a lot of time to complete it because we had very little resources. So this is the project. It's a 1-minute video project.
Let's see.
So
was this for a TV ad, or was
it's a personal project? It was
okay.
my first personal video project.
Amazing.
And it made me explore different languages, like think about my visual world turned into moving image. And for me, the process is so important that it was a great way to translate what I do into video, because like a recipe is a process. It's a process about how you create, in this case, a cake. So, well, it added all the playfulness that my work has, the colors, and it was a lot of fun to do and a lot of learning. I needed to do with this project. So this past 2020 has been challenging, but it also has been very rewarding because I got to explore a lot of new languages that maybe if I have had an unusual year, like with a lot of commercial work coming and blah, 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 I wouldn't have the time to think about what I want to do next, and get into all these new things that I'm getting and exploring a lot.
That's very inspiring, because even Sandrine on the chat, she was actually she wanted us to kind of focus on how do you find your time on doing personal projects. And it's amazing to know that, without the struggle of the past year and the fact that we were spending so much time at home, without that fact, you wouldn't have been able to explore all these kind of languages and disciplines, and even doing your first video project by yourself. I think this is amazing. And we also have another question from Sandrine, where she says, how do you find a personal project with such a complex setup? I mean, we know that you work from home, you have your own studio. Do you have a specific gear? And I know that some people from the chat are asking, what kind of cameras are you using? And how do you build such an amazing set that you would never imagine that it's only you who did that?
Okay, this personal project was not only me. I had it produced by a Hawaii production company. I had a DOP. I have a home economist. I have a team, a very reduced team of people for a video project. But it's not the same doing video than doing stills. Like for stills, I can do it by myself, yes, but video, it's like different stories, way more complicated. So, for example, projects I've done by myself, these project that it's from a few years ago called Heatwave. This I did completely by myself. It's shot in direct sunlight. I don't have any fancy flashes nor anything. I do have a very good camera. I have a medium format digital back. I'm a Phase 1 ambassador. I mean, that's not a beginner gear, but that's not necessary. I mean, I created images that were as good when I had a normal reflex camera, and now iPhones are creating day by day like crazier and better images. So I mean, it counts if you are going to see that image on a billboard or on out of home advertising. But if you're going to share your images in your social media and you're creating your portfolio, what you need is to have a good idea, to make sure you execute it in the best way, to have the best light possible, to think everything about it and get it prepared, and don't leave anything to randomness, and then you will have a good result. And with time you will be able to buy a better camera, to buy some lights, to buy stuff. I mean, I have lights in my home studio. They are not the most recent and most perfect lights, but they do the job. But many of my, like this project and this other project that's called Acapulco, this was shot in direct sunlight as well, and I haven't found any artificial light that gives the quality and consistency that direct sunlight does. Of course, it's not the most, you can't control it as you can control the position, but you can study how it works, you can calculate, you can, like, if it's a personal project, you can work it through the day. So you can, I mean, this project took me more than a commercial project will have taken with some more controlled lights, because suddenly when I was shooting the image in the middle up, I got a cloud, and that cloud stayed until sunset. So I had to wait until the next day to shoot this image. And here it is. I mean, I just waited.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because these are things that they don't teach you at school, or they don't teach you at specific when you want to take a specific degree in photography. Like, these are all things that you learn by yourself, right? And you keep developing your skills based on that, which gets me to my question, which it was one of the questions asked, and actually this Monday's stream with Emma, Rufus, and Maddie, we got a question from Carrie. I don't know if she's watching us today. She asked, in your career or any photographer's career, does the academic degree matter more than having a portfolio or skills, or like, is it vice versa? I mean, from your own personal experience, what do you think about that?
Well, I have a degree. I've never been asked for it, I have to say. Actually, like the physical title, it took me like 10 years go pick it up. And I just did it because my dad was like, go pick it up. I've never needed it. And well, this has been because I've always worked freelance, and what really counts is a portfolio. Like, in what I do, I mean, not even a CV. It's a portfolio. It's a portfolio. Like, if this is what I do, and this is what people will call you to do, what they see you have in your portfolio. It not even having like names, like, for me, like, this is my personal opinion, like big brands, like I've worked for Google or Coca-Cola or blah, 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 blah. Of course, it somehow matters, but it's more important to show something that a possible client will like and that they will hire you for, than just names or a CV or a title. It's about your work, and that will speak about you. That's the most important. And maybe a degree can help you in a different way. Maybe it can make you meet people. It can make you have a wider general culture, which is always very helpful to be more educated. But you can also get that by reading, or you can combine it also with reading, with being curious, with trying to always keep on learning and growing. But it's not about the title itself, I think.
Completely. So like another tip for this year is build your portfolio. Just start gathering everything you've done so you can create this experience. And I know that we have Stefan, for example, here watching us. He's going to university this September, and I hope that he's learning so much from this stream by already learning from your tips. So yeah, I feel like once you start, you really have to try to make as many personal projects as you can, not just because of anything, but in order to build your portfolio and showcase to everyone what are your skills. And yeah, I do know I do relate to you in terms of the certificado, like the certificate that they ask for you. I was never asked for my degree. I did I have my degree in graphic design. But yeah, I mean, of course, you have to study, you have to go to uni, that's for sure. But real life experience is what gets you out there and helps you develop all these skills that and talents that you have. And yeah, so do we I think we have some time for another project to check out. Is there anything specific that you would like to share with us?
Yes, I want to share you my latest project that was shot at the end of last year in December. It was a little project for a cake brand called Brampton House, and I really liked the collaboration I had with a lot of people, with Andrea Gendusa, the animator, and it was also a way of exploring something new. So I have like a lot of new projects exploring new languages. So here it goes.
We are Brompton House, the home of baking. As an international brand, we are among the top 10 selling cake companies in the UK, reaching new markets every year with innovative products. A fast, efficient and honest response to our customers is our priority. Our category-leading products stand out from the rest. Using high-quality ingredients, we deliver great value at attractive and competitive prices for our consumers. Suitable all year round, our range is enjoyed by everyone, from children to seniors. We care about the environment. Our sustainable packaging is reusable, stackable and recyclable. It also protects our products during their journey to shops and homes around the world. Brompton House cakes are individually wrapped servings with a 90-day shelf life that are fresh and ready to enjoy any time of the day. Perfect to take with you on the go. Please meet our products. Our chocolate brownies, everyone's favorite. The apple and strawberry puffs feature pure fruit filling. Our coconut macaroons are 35% coconut, and you'll find our sweetheart is 34% butter. Last but not least, you can't miss our muffins made with premium milk chocolate.
Amazing. And that was done from a specific studio? Did you have to rent?
No, this was done in my little space. I just put together, it's not the greatest images for a behind the scenes, but it's good for educational purposes, so you can see how it was done. Like this reduced space I work with, we were also a small team, but it was really fun because the client was very trustful in my solutions, and yeah, it was very small, and they wanted to communicate like their company values and how they work and what their products are, but they gave me like total freedom. I just received like some bullet points, and it was like all to do, like even the script and everything. So it was really fun, like to come into concepts and visual solutions to speak about those concepts. And it's something I'm really enjoying. And it's something that also came from last year. I mean, I've always loved to develop the creative side and not just like the visual part, but also like to put a little bit more into the concepts from the images I do. But it's something that became stronger during last year, where I've been like facing more total development of a project, like from concept to execution. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great client because they really let me do, and they were trustful, and they just have gave me feedback in stuff that was really important for them, and it was very understandable. So then there's this mix of live action, bit of stop motion, photography and animation, illustration. So all these techniques that that come together in this little video.
Beautiful. And I know we have some time left, so of course I left this topic for almost end of our session, because I wanted to kind of like, which is the title of our session today, setting goals for 2021. And I have Gareth here, of course, who's asking for it. So what are your thoughts on setting goals? And in case of Gareth, for example, from the chat here, he's asking for any advice that you have to try to restart your creative spark. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that one of the most important things, like to keep in mind now and always, is to keep yourself motivated. Like if you're not liking what you do, you must like try to find where to direct your career that brings that spark he's speaking about again. And in my case, in the past, it's happened with like a new light to test, or a new concept, or something that really keeps you motivated. And goals for this year, I think that they all have a lot to do with what happened last year, and with all that learning. To be flexible. I mean, we don't know what it's coming, so let's try to be flexible, and all these words like resilient and try to adapt to whatever is coming. Sometimes we are so stubborn into what we expect from the future, and it's like, okay, let us the present surprise us. And then maybe we can construct a different future from what we thought, but it doesn't necessarily has to be worse. I mean, not just because you are not getting into. So I will better think in not having a specific goal like getting this, but into having a better attitude towards what we have to coming, like flexibility, flowing a little bit, because with all this that happened, like developing more concepts, and the mental health series I created, that like suddenly my goals for the future were starting to shift, and it was all being modified because of what was happening. So like trying to flow a little bit better, and trying to be open and embrace whatever comes, always with a trying to have a good attitude towards it, and then it's more likely that it will be an enjoyable future.
I completely agree with you. I mean, I know that a lot of people were kind of focusing on the fact that, hey, like, just we want to finish 2020 already. I don't want to see 2020 anymore. But having a good attitude, whether it's 2020 or 2021 or 2022, having a good attitude towards your vision and anything that you're facing is a very valuable advice, because you have to trust the process. You have to trust the time and whatever the universe is, offering you at this moment. And use it, whether in a positive way or in a challenging way. Like you have to use it and embrace it, like you said. I mean, I feel like we learned so much in such like an hour. It's really hard to wrap up all the amazing tips that you shared with us. But for those who joined in late, of course, you can rewatch the stream once it's out and available, which will be available like right after we close our session. But some of the amazing tips that Paloma shared with us is, try to keep your motivation, nurture your motivation, go out for walks, challenge yourself, build your portfolio. Your skills are more important than just having a certain paper, a degree that, represents yourself. It's more about building your portfolio, building your experience. And even if you're working from your own studio or from home, you don't have to buy top quality equipment in order to make things happen. And I invite all of you to check out Paloma's Behance and website to check out all the amazing projects she's done and the behind the scenes, so you can see how things are possible. Even if you're working from your own house. And I'm gonna throw in one last question from Angus Paloma, who's asking us if your sounds, are you using stock resources, or is it like purely made from a studio, the music that you have in most of your projects?
Okay, so I have some that it's stock. I have some that it's like behind the scenes for personal projects, and it's credited after the videos. It's Creative Commons, where I share like the license. And commercial projects, I use custom-made music mainly.
Awesome.
More or less. Like it's always usually in my behind the scenes or in the video itself, it's credited where the music comes from. So yeah, depending on the project and the budget and the possibilities, that's what I do.
Great. So yeah, I feel just gonna throw in. I mean, the chat is so busy. It's amazing. People are talking about creative block, and I know that I wish we can go on for like more than an hour, but I want to invite everyone to join our Discord channel. To keep the conversation going. I just love, the community and how everyone is interacting and basing your answers, Paloma, into their real life. So please, guys, do join us on Discord and keep the conversation going. So I feel like we have a question from Tim actually. What's next for you, Paloma, to wrap up the session today?
What's next? Well, I have this like more long-term personal project I'm developing after my mental health series that will take me a while to complete, because it's not just a project I do by myself. It needs like some research and some theoretical foundation there. I just finished 2020 with a super exciting project that I'm still working on, and just like a little sneak peek, like a huge project I shot in Mexico. So 2020 ended up being great. So this will keep me busy for some weeks still, and yeah, I will love keeping exploring these new directions I started with the video and more stills. I mean, like doing stuff. That's what makes me feel good.
Amazing. That's so nice. That's so good to hear. And I even watched your social channels, and I saw that you were in Mexico shooting this like kind of last minute project. It's so good to know, and we're really looking forward to seeing it coming to life. So yeah, I believe we're almost at the end. Paloma, I want to thank you so much for this amazing session that we had together and for your time. I'm so happy, and we're so happy to see all the tips and the goals that you have set for for 2021. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to remind everyone that we're live every day. No, sorry, not every day. We did change the schedule. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. From 12 to 1 UK time. Next week, we have a very interesting schedule. We have on Monday an amazing session about voice and audio processing with Joe Allen and Tim. On Wednesday, we have the amazing Tony Harmer with Rai Sapardini regarding typography. And on Friday, I will be back with a very special guest, which I know that some of you have mentioned him on the chat today. Gavin Strange is going to be with us, Jam Factory, on Friday. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone joining us. Thank you so much for all the viewers and for the chat. The chat has been amazing today. Thank you everyone who joined us. Gareth, Oliver, Stuart, yeah, Gavin is back, Stuart, and Caroline, Sandrine, Sophia, Tim, even Tim was here. Everyone, I wish I can mention everyone, but yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, see you guys. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you, Paloma.
Thank you, Nathalie, and thank everybody that joined us in this stream.
Amazing. Virtual hugs. Bye.
Bye.